Welcome back to another edited rendition of Key and Carrie, where we key
and we carry.
Girl, you know I gotta start always this Monday, bitch, for tea.
and we are back with a very, very, very special interview for you guys.
Y'all want a guy?
Yes, the Karon Wilson baby is joining us tonight. Will be joining us tonight for a kind of exclusive, a little intimate Key and Carrie interview, which we are super excited for. Baby, if you don't know about Karon, Gemini Filmz, first of all, CEO and creator of Gemini Filmz, the Gemini Filmz, baby. Bad Boys Club, The Come Up, three different franchises of The Come Up. So we're excited for that. We hope you guys are like as excited as we are for this interview.
Watching his shows, like watching The Come Up and Bad Boys Club to like finally be able to interview him and get all of the ends of just being a producer and the messy shit too. we gonna get into that too. But yes, I'm just excited to talk to him. He seems like such a genuine, fun, nice person. So I'm excited to see where this conversation goes.
Yeah,
we'll be back after this ad.
I want to tell the people out there that thank you for supporting me, and if you don't, suck my.
And we are back with none other than the Karon Wilson, also known as Gemini Filmz, the executive producer and creator of Gemini Filmz. We've been watching you for a while. I know I've been watching you for like a really long time. Started with The Come Up, New York. I feel like that's so nostalgic for me. Like, I mean, I watched it like as like in my like early 20s, but I feel like it's a part of my childhood for some reason. Like I just get such nostalgic feelings from it. I guess we just wanted to start off with you being like a producer and producing all of these things. What inspired you to kind of like pick up a camera and start producing?
I was very much into like trying to see why there wasn't any shows that were kind of like the shows I wanted to see, like, so for example, when I did Bad Boys Club to begin with, I was like, why don't we have a boy version of Bad Girls Club? Or when I did The Come Up, it was kind of based loosely on why isn't there kind of like a gay version of Love and Hip Hop? Like, I can't go to no network. They're gonna look at me and be like,
okay.
Bitch, what are you like? What? So it was more so of like starting to take things into my own hands and being like, you know what? I think that I could do it. I've always had this thing where I would go to the movie theaters and watch a movie and it would take me into another world. And I love that feeling. Like I love watching shows or movies and feeling like I get to live in this world for an hour or whatever. And I kind of wanted to do that for people, like I felt like it helped me. So I wanted to do it for people. And that's kind of where it started. I really want to say, I think it was the universe listening to me because I couldn't afford a camera. So one day I was with my friends and we were like, going out, walking downtown or something. And I happened to find a Canon camera. It was in its camera bag. It had like the lens, the camera, the battery, the everything. And all my friends was like, this is your sign. You said that you've been wanting to film. This is your sign. Like you literally just have a whole camera sitting on a bench and it's just been sitting there. And we kind of tried to figure out like who it was for, but no one claimed it. So that's the camera that I started filming with.
I mean, sometimes opportunities just really be sitting there for you to take.
For real. So like, was Bad Boys Club the very first like project that you filmed, or do you remember the very first project that you filmed?
My very first project, it wasn't Bad Boys Club. It was a reality show that I did called The Cousins, where I did me and my cousins, and it was based off of the Kardashians. So it was more of like, I wanted to do a family show with me and my cousins, and I filmed it for like one season, I think, and we did like 6 episodes, and it just, of course there was like drama within the family and all this stuff, and I was doing confessionals in like bathrooms and stuff. It was but I was figuring it out. I was like, I don't know what to do, so I'm trying. And then because of the drama between like the cousins and everything, I ended up taking it down. And then the next project was Bad Boys Club and that one like really took off. So I was like, oh, well, I was going to keep trying a bunch of different stuff until something stuck. But Bad Boys Club was the second thing that really took off. So I was like, okay, well, I guess this is the thing that people want to see. And that kind of really like got me out there to a lot of people. So I kind of, I'm not going to say I had it easy, but it was like a very quick, like once I started, it like took off with that one.
Was it easier to upload episodes of Bad Boys Club then compared to like if you try to upload an episode now?
Oh, absolutely. Back then, you could upload whatever, and it was fine. I wasn't getting paid by YouTube, but I wasn't doing it for the money. I was just doing it because I love to film, and it was something that I thought was fun. But so I guess because I wasn't looking at monetization and getting paid, it was easier. And then once I was able to start making money from it, it still was fine. And then all of a sudden now it's like there's so many rules because people are so sensitive now to like any word that you say. You can't say the wrong thing. And if you do, then you might be this phobic or that phobic or whatever the case may be. And so now it's like, you know, any little thing, YouTube strike. That's the reason why, honestly, I haven't even been posting on YouTube like that anymore, because with Patreon, I have a lot more freedom to just do whatever. So yeah, it was much easier back then. I wish we still had the rules or whatever it was back then.
The old YouTube. Yeah, you would find some things on there. So speaking of Bad Boys Club and like Bad Boys Club coming together, how did you start to cast for that? Getting like people to be on things and be consistent can be kind of hard.
The first Bad Boys Club I did, I had a bunch of friends from like my life that I reached out to. So like Marcus, I used to go to dance school with him. Like Lewis, Steven, these are people who I went to school with, or I knew them through like, you know, back then, like when you're a teenager, there was like house parties and all that stuff because you couldn't go to a club. So these are people that I've just known throughout like places, and I sat down and I was like, who would be the perfect cast? So I just started thinking of ideas of people, and those were the people that came to mind, and I reached out to them and they said, yeah. There was one person who said yes, and then like right before we started filming, they was like, no, I don't want to do it. So I ended up replacing them. But we filmed every weekend. So, you know, we would go to school, and then on the weekends from like Friday to Sunday, we would film. And that's how it would work every weekend. I did that up until Atlanta. I did it up until season 6. So when I went to Atlanta, that's when we actually were filming like every single day and all that stuff. But every show that I did with Bad Boys Club was filmed every weekend.
Okay. Wow. So you talk about filming in Atlanta, and of course you've like branched out to like different cities, and I'm like, jet set babe, like everywhere, like going everywhere. Can you talk about like how you kind of like put that in place to be able to film in like Atlanta or Miami?
It was an ambition, honestly. It was because like when I was younger and I did the Bad Boys Club New York, I was too young to travel by myself. So I would lie to my mom and say I was going to stay at my Nana's house, and I would sneak off to New York. I would take like the Greyhound bus, go to New York, film for the weekend, and then sneak back to my grandmother's house, and then my mom would pick me up. And it was a very dangerous thing to do. I wouldn't recommend anyone who's 15, 16 to do that, because but I was so motivated to be like, I need to get myself out there. If I start going to different places, more people will know me, you know? So that's pretty much how that happened. The whole Atlanta thing, it was a very crazy thing too. You know, I had a friend who I met on Twitter and they were like, hey, I love your Bad Boys show. If you ever want to shoot it in Atlanta, let me know. I have a place you can use. And so me and him, like, we're talking for a few months, and I ended up flying out there, meeting him that same day. And then we filmed Bad Boys Club like a few days later in Atlanta. And so it was just kind of like hookups throughout me traveling. It was like knowing friends in different areas and them kind of having places I can use or whatever, because again, YouTube wasn't really paying anything like that. And then also I have to keep in mind that I have to have money for myself to do stuff and to eat and everything. So it, honestly speaking, it really hasn't been really going good until I would say until the season of Bad Boys Club, where I really was able to put money towards a house and us to actually do stuff. And so now the shows that I'm doing now, you know, I'm able to get these homes and we're able to film for a certain amount of time. But back then it was all connections. It was all people who I knew.
Talk about like, yes, grinding and like hustling. It's what's the saying? It's not, what is it? It's not who you know or something like that.
Absolutely, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Okay, that's what thank you, y'all. Do you have a favorite location that you filmed in so far? Like either Miami, Dallas, New York, or Atlanta?
I would honestly say probably, I mean, Atlanta's always going to be fun and more easier to film because I have such a big fan base out there. So a lot of these places that I go to film, you know, people know me. So it's kind of like, instead of having it be this whole process of having to like get clearance to film inside this restaurant weeks in advance, it's more so of like oh, I want to film here like tomorrow. Oh yeah, come through tomorrow. We'll clear out a section. We'll put you guys over here. So Atlanta had a lot more like hospitality as opposed to like New York or maybe Miami, where it's like a little bit harder, you know what I mean? So Atlanta probably definitely is one of my favorite places to film. And the cast is also really fun to me because they're a mess, you know, so. It's
I do
fun.
love the Atlanta cast.
Speaking of, we're looking forward to season 4 of Atlanta. We will be reviewing it. Okay.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay,
Yes.
so you're gonna look out for that.
I'm definitely gonna be watching.
So I wanted to know, like, of course, Bad Boys Club, like, fights happen all the time. Crazy things have happened. From your experience, like, what's the craziest thing to ever happen, like, while you were filming Bad Boys Club?
This is so funny. Somebody asked me this the other day, and I was really trying to sit there and think because, I filmed like 1,000 shows, so
Right.
it's like, it's hard to remember every single moment, but there are a few moments where I remember there was this one fight that happened outside the mall when we were filming, I think season 3. It was between Josiah and Christian. And they're both like two tall, like 6-foot guys. And they wanted to meet up, have the conversation about why they don't like each other, and whatever happens. So I remember filming it, and I couldn't afford like lights and stuff. So we're using like the little iPhone light trying to get it, and it looked a mess. But I remember that fight being so brutal that I I put my camera down because I was just like, this is too much. Like, this is like, and they fought like 5 different times and blood and, people put out knives and stuff. It was like their friends came. So it was like the friends versus the friends. And it was just a moment that I remember hearing the punches when one of the boys was on top of him punching his face. And to me, I just felt like this is not it. Like, this is too much. It's like to a point where it was like, to me, I was like, this is way too much. Like, I can't. And there was no control, like everyone said, yeah, I'm going to make sure he's okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we all made sure everything was fine. But once it happened and everyone lost control and there's no security, nothing, it was too much that I was just like, that was a moment that I was like, oh my God, I'd never want to be in an environment like this again, because it was too much.
Even like watching some of the like seasons that have just come out, I'm just like, oh my God, to be there and like calming people down. Because like sometimes when people fight, it's like, okay, like they may be doing it for the camera, but other times it's like they really do not like each other. And once you fight somebody, it just keeps happening because that energy is still in the room. So
the energy is still in the room. And you have to remember the scary part about this. I mean, I've been doing it for a while, so I guess to me it's like it's whatever, but you're literally living with strangers who you've never met in your life, with cameras rolling, with a production you really don't know. Like, I mean, yeah, like we've talked to the cast members weeks and months, to prepare them for the show, but you still don't know any of us, and you don't know what. Right. So my thing I always think of is like, when we're going to sleep, I do like pray and be like, let everyone just go to sleep. And no one try to get out and go in anyone's room and do something crazy. Like, of course, before we film the show production, we go in, we clear the house, we move we remove like knives and anything that is sharp, because we don't ever want it to be that. We check them to make sure there's no weapons or anything. But I always think to myself, like, what if someone's crazy enough to try and like fucking choke someone in their sleep, because they can't handle the fact that maybe they got beat up on camera or something. Like, I always think of just like
or attack somebody with a hockey stick.
Or that. So it's a very intense environment, and when you're in it, I mean, of course, on the show when it's edited and the music and all in the confessionals, it looks a little bit more like glamorized. But when it's like no music and it's just like without, like, it's raw, it's like, oh my God, like it's a lot.
Do you kind of feel like, especially like with this last season, do you kind of feel like that anxiety, like when there's like a bunch of people fighting, like, or let me say, did you feel that anxiety at this reunion that you felt at the mall brawl, like season 3?
Yeah, well, so the thing I said to myself for this reunion was, okay, I'm not hosting it, so there's not that much pressure on me to like be on stage and control that. Like, it might be easier for me because I can actually just control production and the crowd. And as I'm getting ready for the reunion, I literally have a whole mental breakdown before I even get in the car to head to the reunion place. And I was like, fuck, like I didn't want to, but it was like what happened in season 7's reunion. Really like broke me mentally, where I literally that's why after season 7 I was gone for months, because my mental could not take everything that was happening. It was just so much. I had a breakdown before I went, And because I just thought to myself, like, here we go again. All right, I'm about to go into this hostile environment for the next 5-6 hours, and I don't know what's gonna happen, you know? So I don't know. I prepare myself for it, but as much time as I prepare myself, I still can't. I still feel like, you know, it's too much. And people always say, like, well, this is good. Like, they're fighting, it's drama, like it's good. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not good for my mental. Like, yeah, it might be good for the audience to see. And to me, fighting is not everything. Like, I don't need a fight to make me feel like a show's good. You know, I did Life's a Drag. There was no fighting at all. It was a bunch of arguments, but I still loved doing it because it was a good show, you know? Right. But I don't think fighting defines a show being good. I think that the stories and the conflicts and how they handle it, like that needs to be done.
Fighting is it's so easy to get people's attention with like fighting, and it's so entertaining. Do you think it's harder to get people to like really listen to like people's stories and like the storytelling side of it?
I think so. Unless it has to be a really good story for people to really care and connect to. Because if it's not, then people don't really care. And I had to learn that. I had to take my feelings out of certain things and just be like, this is what I can produce with these people. And if people like it, great. And if they don't, there's nothing I can do about it. You know, like I am here to make the best show I can, but I can only push so hard for people to open up and share certain stories. So, I mean, of course, like, I'm spending a lot of my time and money, so I'm not going to want it to be a boring show. Like, I never want to go and produce a boring show. So I'm always going to push for it to be good. But yeah, I think that if I'm being honest with you, people like to see fighting. People like to see the drama. They love to see, I mean, we all do. We all love to see drama that has nothing to do with us.
Yeah, it's true. Ask about it. Ask.
It's like, let's keep it real. Like, if I can sit back and watch people go at it and I got nothing to do with it, absolutely, I'm tuning in. But I think that a story is very important too. You know what I mean? And I still stand by that. I know a lot of these shows nowadays are just fighting and there's like no dialogue or whatever. But I grew up,
South Central baddies.
My goodness.
And there's shows like that is like there's no, I don't like, there's not even confessional sometimes. It's just them fighting.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, I still stick by the old school. I still want there to be a story. I still want people to like laugh, cry, enjoy the drama. Like, I want to take you on a roller coaster when I do a show. So, but I do know, like, yes, people love drama, so there's gonna have to be drama. If not, then most likely the show's not really gonna do good. You know, and that's what the audience kind of makes it. It's like, do you want to make money or do you want to have good faith indeed, but you probably ain't gonna make nothing and get no views or go viral or anything. It's the sad truth, but it's true.
I remember the last season of the Come Up New York when Ty got engaged to his fiance.
Yeah.
I remember being like, oh my God, like, I mean, of course, I watch the show, like, no matter what, if there's fights or not fights, but I remember that being a moment, like, just reading the comments where everybody just seemed so engaged and so, like, you know, happy and entertained. And I was like, wow, this is, like, a moment where, like, it's not fighting, it's not arguing, a moment of love and, like, triumph. Everybody was happy, so.
Exactly. And that was a really emotional moment, too. Like, watching it back, every time I played it for production before it came out, all of them cried, you know, because it's like the music, it's the feeling, it's like, you know, me and Ty, we've grown with each other since I was 15, 16. So to see now we're 25, 26, and they, you know, they have houses now, they're getting engaged, they're buying dogs. It's like, it's a moment where it's just like, wow, like life is really happening and we can really show a different side of you as opposed to us like fist fighting in a hotel.
Right.
We were teenagers.
So speaking of Bad Boys Club, like if you had to bring in like a villain to like shake some shit up, to get some shit going, like who would be that person that you would call in? Like whether it's like a former bad boy or like a cast member from like another show or a different network.
I mean, I definitely think Dre Sember is a really wild personality.
Oh, baby, I flew here, and guess what, girl? I flew here spirit, girl. But guess what? The dog's still motherfucking here. What's the tease, sis? And next, let's speed this shit up so I can go back home and enjoy a drink.
I think Jonathan would be great, you know, from the Zeus Bad Boys.
So I'm like, bitch, since I done beat your ass so bad, let me take this motherfucking hair out your head, ho. This ain't even mine, this his.
Oh,
I joined? No!
That's a wild card.
Yeah,
that's a wild boy.
I feel like he'd do good.
I feel like Ty, especially like I think it was like season 2 or season 3 of like the Come Up, he was a wild card, especially the way he was on Montel's neck. So just to see like the last season of the Come Up New York, and to just see him kind of turn a new leaf and just be really self-aware and in love. It was like, I love Ty. It was like super dope just to see that moment happen.
I agree. I think honestly, like there's certain people who like really change for the better when it comes to life happening. I mean, I think the same thing with Milan. I think like this season, you know, of course Milan's going to be in a bunch of drama at the beginning of the season, but also like he's married now, so things are different. You know, he's looking at places with his fiance. Well, I mean, sorry, with his husband. So it's like it's a different mindset with certain people who are married or engaged, or you know what I mean.
So to bring it back to Bad Boys Club for a little bit, we know that you were kind of in talks with Natalie Nunn to kind of do like I mean, because you're the OG of Bad Boys Club, right? So like we know that you were like kind of in talks to like create one with her. Do you want to kind of speak to how that relationship formed and like how it ended in you guys going your separate ways?
I mean, I guess I wouldn't say it wasn't really more so of a relationship as I maybe have thought it could have been. It was I think it was just more of like a situation where, you know, she came into Boston because she was doing a booking. We spoke on Twitter, you know, she invited me to her hotel. And we talked, you know, we talked for hours. You know, we had dinner, we talked, we drank, and we talked about how we wanted to do it. And it was something that I showed her the Bad Boys Club that I was doing, and she said, you know, we really need to make this happen. You know, I've been wanting to do it for a long time. Like, let's make it happen. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, let's do it. Keep in mind, again, I am still not 21. I am very young. You know, I'm like 17 at this point or something. So I can't even really drink or anything. But I was like, the opportunity presented itself. She invited me, so I'm gonna go. So, you know, we had conversations, and there's been plenty of like situations between me and her, of like certain stuff that, you know, she said that just really rubbed me the wrong way. And I think that, again, we had another opportunity to work together with the OnlyFans Bad Girls Club situation that happened. So that was another time where it was like, okay, I came back around, you know, I was requested, you know, I didn't go out asking and begging. It was like, they came to me and said, hey, we saw your work. We think you're great. We think you're perfect for this opportunity. Would you like to produce it? And I said, absolutely. You know, so I went above and beyond to make sure it was going to be amazing. And then at the last minute, it was another situation where it was like, no, he's charging too much. It's, you know, I can find somebody better, X, Y, and Z. And I kind of felt like, I don't really understand what the personal problem is, because I never publicly went out and said horrible things about her. I never said anything about personal conversations we had. So I don't know where this is coming from, where it's like, you don't feel like I'm good enough to produce. And then when I seen it and it was like iPhone footage and stuff, I was kind of like, okay, so you think that's better than what I was going to produce?
Definitely cheaper.
Or, you know, it's definitely cheaper. I mean, hey, like, you know, so but even I feel like sometimes you have to go with cheaper, but not when it comes to something that you're passionate about. I think that if you're passionate about something, you put money behind it. And, you know, these are girls who, they all work, they all have jobs. I'm not asking for like $1 million, you know, I'm not asking for a crazy amount. I even lowered it and said, I can make it lower. Like, I'll take the lower amount just to kind of have that under my belt, and to also make sure that these girls are having better quality than iPhones. And then, you know, once I started launching my Bad Boys Club, it was a lot of like her like following me, unfollowing me, looking at my story, and then like deleting a comment. And I was just kind of like, I don't know what's going on, but all right. Like, I don't know what the situation is, but I wish her the best. She seems to be making a lot of money. The shows seem really good. So hey, it is what it is, you know, but I don't take it as personal as a lot of people do. Because when I go out a lot of the times, like to a club or something like that, it's a lot of like, I know Natalie did you dirty. You need to do it. And I'm like, it's not that serious. Like, if I felt that way personally, then yes, like I could have made it a big thing. But I'm like, you know what? For what? You know, like, I'm not even about to come off and seem bitter or like try to make that a story in my come up, because it's not, you know, it's a situation that just didn't work out a couple times. And so
do you think you were like more focused on like what you had going on? Because like what you were gonna do for her is like y'all joint collab, but you still had your own stuff going on. So
yeah. It was, I always have been the person to be like, whether or not if I work with a celebrity or whoever, I'm still gonna continue to do my own thing. Just because I never want to be the person to sit around and wait for someone and then it fall through. Like, It's like I've had many a time. There's been so many people who are really, really big that I was gonna collaborate with, and so sometimes it just doesn't work out. Sometimes it falls through. Sometimes they change their mind. I learned to not take it so personal. Back then, I took it so personal. A bitch would be crying and her feelings, all kind of. But I had to learn that like this is a part of the business. Like that's just how certain people move, and it's like I can't take it personal every single time something doesn't work. There's been plenty of people who like I would love to name some of the people who I was in talks with to work with, and it just don't work. So it's fine. I've worked with celebrities before, and I'm sure I'll work with more again. But it is what it is.
You definitely seem like like what's for you is for you. So if it doesn't work out,
and I never want to come off as like a groupie or anything. Like I still don't even text the celebrities I have in my phone because I don't ever want to come off like, hey, can you post this, or can you like come on and do this for me? I just was like, whenever it aligns, it'll align and it'll work out. Until then, I ain't finna text you and bother you. But if you think about me and you hit me up and say, hey, whatever, then okay, cool. But I never want to come off like I'm bothering someone. So
right. Oh, that's real.
So keeping it in like the Bad Boys Club realm, if you could give a bad boy like his own web reality show, like who would that bad boy be and why?
I have names, but they all shady. I'm so sorry.
Say who you think?
I'm like, I mean, you could maybe give Jacob and Alex their own show, the couple.
No, listen.
Okay.
You can give D and Darian. And
listen, okay, I will watch D and Darian.
Show.
D and Darian is toxic, but it's funny. D was drunk as fuck. Darian was over it. I was keying through the whole interaction. But Damon, you being shady with Jacob and Alex. Did you know damn well ain't nobody gonna watch no show with Jacob and Alex? You were talking about. I was thinking Bonnie.
If I feel like I needed to work on some shit, I wouldn't be in this bitch. So I'm here because I think I got it together. I'm trying to show y'all I got it together, bitch. What's up?
I love Bonnie.
Well, the good thing is that like Bonnie, Darian, and Case are all doing their own, like they're about to have their own spinoff show.
They are doing the dating show.
That is more of like a thing where it's only 3 of them. So the storyline and camera time for them is going to be a lot more than Bad Boys Club. It's going to be a very interesting show because of the people who we're picking. And
Love Games T.
It's a show of all of us living in a big house, filming for love, and them dating and going on these, living with these men and trying to figure out who they want to fall in love with or who's for them. So, but also keep in mind, they also have issues with each other. Like the 3 bachelors are all having history and issues with each other that they have to discuss too. So I'm sure when we start filming that and they see each other for the first time, I'm sure it's going to be.
You fucked my ex and you're fucking crying? Are you fucking kidding me?
And knowing the boys that's coming, I feel like it's going to be Bad Boys Club all over again. Because you got to keep in mind, like, even though they're coming here for love, I'm sure some of them are going to the show.
Something about it, fighting and hunching.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot. But I think it's going to be a great show. And the house is really, really nice. So, we working.
So in terms of, like, production, like, getting cameras, getting, like, editing software, getting a house to film in, is that something that you kind of just figured out on your own? Or did you turn to someone to, like, figure that out for you or to give you advice?
I definitely asked for advice because when I did the Texas season, I was like, I don't know, like this is a lot, like it's a lot of money to book a house with a bunch of beds and that's big enough to look like a show house, So when I first did it, I reached out to an investor. He's actually a famous producer who's worked on Housewives and Real World and all like MTV Mob Wives and stuff. So he's a multimillionaire. And he's a connection of mine who I've known for a long time. And he reached out to me and was like, keep doing your thing. I love your shows. And I was like, okay, well, if you love my shows, I want to talk to you about something, but you're completely fine to say no. I just want to ask. And I brought the idea to him. He was like, absolutely. Like, so I was like, this is the investment idea that I have. What do you think? And so with that, with Bad Boys Club Texas, it was like an investment deal where I asked for a certain amount. He sent it. I was able to do a lot more. And this time going in, like doing the dolls and the love show and besties, I'm not asking for an investor, but if I do need it, it's there. So that's a great thing to have in the back of my pocket. But I kind of, I like doing stuff myself, but it is a lot of work and it is a lot of money, but I just had to like put myself out there and be like, okay, you'll make this money back. So don't look at it as like you're losing money. Look at it as like you're putting money in, you have to make this work. and then you'll get your money back. And that's another reason why when people don't understand, why I charge on Patreon for reunions and stuff, I'm like, because if you guys want me to keep making shows, I have to make money somehow. YouTube ain't really paying nothing, if we being honest. Like, YouTube's not paying anything. So, and because the kind of content that we produce and put out there, it's not the kind of content that can be monetized, because it's swearing, drinking, fighting, hooking up people naked and stuff. It's not something that you could just upload and be like, okay, I'm gonna make good money.
How many people are on your production team?
So when I shoot in different areas, I have different people that's already living in those areas for the most part.
Okay.
With the doll show that we're about to film in Miami, I reached out to a bunch of producers who I know in Miami who I've worked with before. And then my cameraman who helped me film, my cameraman and producers who filmed Bad Boys Texas with me, we're all flying there together. So we fly there and we shoot it for the time being, and then we all fly back home. I just posted something about, because I wanted to add more people. So I'm like, you know what? I want to bring in a lot more people, but I kind of want them to be in the Miami area, because I don't feel like paying for flights and stuff like that. Like, I'd rather you already live in the area. So it's like, okay, how much is your Uber, or how much you need for gas? So you could just drive over to the house and we film and produce the way we need to. And I've gotten a lot more than I expected, actually. Like, I had a lot of people who even volunteered to be like, I'll fly out there and do whatever. I just want to be a part of it. So I got a lot of people who are hungry. So I'm about to introduce a lot of new people. So it should be interesting. Again, it's hard for me to trust people. So I'm gonna just put it in God's hands when I bring these new people in for the dolls and just hope that everything will be fine. I'm not gonna hope. Everything will be fine. Everything's gonna go great. That's kind of
dolls will keep them in check. For sure.
Okay, because these ladies are something. So
yeah. Have you ever thought about like maybe submitting things to like Tubi or Amazon Prime? I know like some other shows, like web series, have been on like Tubi. Have you ever thought about that? I feel like that would like really change the game.
I've gotten some offers before from streaming services or networks, and it sounds great, and I really would like to. I mean, hey, it'd be a great thing to post and have people go and check it out. But a lot of the times the deals are really not good. The deals that they offer, I'm like, I already make that. So that's not something that initially would really help. And I try to negotiate. And because I feel like I know my worth, so I know what I bring to the table, and I know that if I am to partner with like Tubi or something, I want to be making money that's going to actually elevate me and not just be stuck in like the same place that I am now. If I'm taking a deal, it needs to push me to go further up, and not be like, okay, I'm taking this deal, it's going to sound great, but I'm still kind of in the same level that I am. Like, no, that doesn't make sense. I can keep doing the same thing now. I don't even need to do that. So. But hopefully the deal comes through that works and that makes sense, because I would love to get these shows off my hands and give it to a streaming network and make money and have them stream it and get paid every month from it. But until then, I'm happy with where I'm at now.
I feel like you offer something that like we don't really see. You had that thought of like no gay Love and Hip Hop, no gay like Basketball Wives, and it's like we're still in 2023, almost into 2024, still not really a thing. Like we don't have that.
And so, now, but now we have like all these web reality shows that has followed that platform. That's followed that, and now every single web show that's coming out is the same thing. It's like the same. Exact thing where it's like a bunch of gays in a city. They all do this kind of career. They meet up, fight, drink, and talk about the issue. Like it's the same thing. So that's the reason why now I'm like, okay, I want to start doing something different. Because if I'm being honest, I felt like when it comes to that, I started that trend on doing it for the web show people. And now it's being done so much that it's not even exciting anymore. That's the reason why it's like, I went back to Bad Boys Club, because I'm like, well, fuck it. If we're gonna do something, let's bring it back to what people love and bring because goddamn, how many more cities are we gonna do the same kind of thing? Like
let's say that Amazon Prime was interested in picking up the Come Up. Let's say they wanted to make it an international Come Up franchise, and they gave you the selection of the city that you guys could record in. What city would you pick?
If I could pick anywhere?
Yes, anywhere.
So I know this sounds weird, but I really would love the UK. I'm not gonna hold you.
That would be lit.
I feel like that would be so lit. And I actually was thinking about like going to the UK and actually filming a season. because I feel like that would be something different. It'll be something new. And also, I love their accents.
I'm actually British. I was born there. I went to university there. I went to Oxford.
Like, I love it. I love it. And the UK boys that I see out there are so like over the top. Like their fashions are over the top. The places are beautiful. You know, it's a lot of like lip filler and all this stuff. It's gorgeous. Like I love it. So I don't know. That would be a place that I probably would choose.
So when it comes to like the relationship, by doing these shows, you know a lot of people in these cities. Do you keep in close contact with anybody in particular? I mean, of course, I know you like talk to people about like production and things like that, and maybe even check up on people. But is there anybody that you're super like close to, like past producer, executive producer vibes?
Well, you know, Johan is my best friend. He was on season 2. We actually became best friends like after the show, and we've been best friends for like 10 years now. And also, me and Darian were actual friends before. There actually, it's funny. So I can go down the list because certain people think like, oh, it's favoritism or whatever, and I'm like, no, actually, I have a lot of friends who there's only a few of them that I bring on to the show because I always tell them like, just because you're on the show does not mean I'm gonna spare you or let you have it easy. And a lot of them understand, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they get pissed off and upset. And I'm like, well, you decided that you wanted to apply for the show, so I put you on it. Now, you know what I mean? But the people who I've actually been friends with, who I talk to on a normal basis before they came onto Gemini Films, was Sean from Miami. We were actual friends. Me and Shane were actual friends before he came on Gemini Films. Me and Dion were actual friends. Darian, Johan, like those people, I was actually friends with them before they even applied to be on the show. So yeah, I keep in contact with them and I talk to them like almost every day.
Do they ever like try to rope you into the drama that's going on the show?
Of course. Of course. And I'd be like,
try again.
Girl, no.
I'm surprised they're not in the scene like, well, Karon said this. And like,
I be telling them, I be like, listen, like, you know, our friendship is different than when I'm producing, because when that producer hat come on and we're miking you up and stuff, I'm not your friend. I am not your friend. I am doing my job. So you can't look at me and, you know what I mean? And sometimes it does happen like with Dion, or, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes even with Darian, like when we were doing the sit down, he's the only cast member that could really talk to me like that because we're actual friends. So when he's like, girl, shut the fuck up or whatever, it's because we're actual friends. Like if he was a cast member who I wasn't really close with and don't really know, I'd be like, girl, first of all, don't tell me to shut the fuck up. Like, I don't know. But because we're friends, we have that conversation where we can talk about stuff like that. So
has there ever been like a cast member from any of the series that you've ever like maybe had like a little flirty situation with, maybe a little situationship moment?
My goodness.
Not trying to compromise your integrity. I just, you know, the messy questions just float to the top of my head.
To answer the question,
I'm just trying to have Karon in HR.
Okay. To answer the question, no. I mean, flirting wise, yes. Like, I mean, of course, like, you know, we're gay men. Of course, like we're out drinking and the cast member's being like flirty, then, you know, like sometimes there'll be a flirty situation. But you'll be surprised. There's been a bunch of cast members who's definitely like wanted to date me or who wanted to like take me out or, you know, have sex and stuff like that. I'm just like, listen, I don't do it because I never want there to be a situation where there's a narrative that I'm sleeping with cast members and then that's a way that you have to get on the show, or it's a situation where it's like, oh yeah, he sleeps with all his cast members. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just, that looks sloppy and messy. So that's the reason why I don't do it. But there are some very attractive cast members who I'm like, I mean, if he wasn't a part of the show, I'm pretty sure like we would have went on a date or something. But no, I don't sleep with them. But yes, I have flirted. I mean, I'm a very flirty person all the time anyway. So
I know Damon is thinking it, so I'm just gonna say it. That's that Gemini energy.
Well, sort of, kind of.
So I'm gonna just step into it and just go ahead and be messy. Speaking of dating and dates, baby, Mr. Karon Wilson, what is your marital status?
Oh, I'm single.
Okay.
I'm single. I've been single for a couple months not You know, I'm just trying to figure out, you know.
So what kind of qualities do you look for in like a man, or what kind of what turn, not really what turns you on, but when you look for a potential partner, what qualities do you look for?
I always look for someone who necessarily doesn't know who I am, because it makes it much easier to have that connection where it's like when they ask, also, what do you do? And you know what I mean? And then I show them and they are like, whoa, like you have a whole world of filming stuff. It's like, it just feels more organic. So I always look for someone who doesn't really have like a social media following. I want you to be like 200 followers, you know, nobody really know you.
Yeah, baby, off the grid.
Yeah, it just makes it more easier for me to have that connection with you. I mean, you know, my last relationship, it wasn't that situation. You know, he's very known and he runs a company that is very popular. So it's a very, you know, different situation, but I was open to it just because it was a very genuine thing. Like we met each other at an event, you know, so it was a very like in-person kind of meet up. But I always look for someone who's just funny, who's loyal, who is ambitious, who's supportive, you know, because me being a Gemini, you know, our mental be everywhere. So you got to be able to support me mentally when I be through it. And I want to be funny.
You can say it.
So yeah, I just look for those qualities of like someone who's ambitious, funny, smart, supportive, loyal. And if you have no social media and you're not trying to be like out there, then that's a plus. But
okay. I've heard like some like people that have like a following say that it's kind of hard to date. Like I guess some people would think like, oh, it's easy because like you're visible, people see you and you know want to be around you. So like, do you feel like it's kind of hard because you're so visible and like people know who you are?
It's so hard because I get that all the time, right? So like if I'm dating a guy, there was actually this one guy who I want to say a few months ago who I was very interested in, but he mentioned he was just like, you know, we were talking for like a month or two. And he just like flat out said, he was like, listen, like, I'm not going to lie to you. I really do like you. And I really want to be with you. Like, trust me, I would drop everything to be with you. But I can't get over the fact that so many people know you. I don't like that you have to leave and go film for like a month or two sometimes. Like, I can't mentally do something like that. Like I can't be with someone who is like known like that. He's like, it gives me anxiety now and we're not even together. So he was straight up with it though. He was just like, I don't think I could do it, but I really do, you know, love you. And I really do want you to stay in my life, you know? And I was bummed out about it because I was like, damn, like that kind of sucks because I was really feeling you and I really wanted to like, but yeah. So a lot of people always think like, no, he has hoes, so they don't want to talk to me, or they think like I'm a bitch or stuck up or something like that. Or they're like, oh, he's probably around drama all the time. In my personal life, I am not around drama at all. It only happens when I'm working. So they think all the time, like I probably hang out with like the most ratchetest people and I'm always like fighting and whatever. And I'm like, and then they meet me and they're like, you're really shy and quiet. And I'm like, yeah, because that's not me. Like that's my job. You know, I'm at the club having a good time. But if I'm like meeting someone, I'm very like quiet and shy until like they open me up. Like I'm not. So yeah, it's very hard. It is, yeah.
How do you balance your professional life and then like your social life? Like, do you feel like your social life is kind of not really diminishing, but kind of restricted in a way due to you being like so busy with work?
Yeah, because there's a lot of times where I feel like, damn, I just want to do this, but I have to be here to film, or I have to do something. I have to work and be in meetings or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I do feel like a lot of the time, like my social life is very like, sometimes it can get really lonely because it's very much like I'm traveling, but I'm traveling to go work. So the little time I do get, I'm fucking tired and I want to sleep. But I know that if I don't take this little time to go out and actually like enjoy myself, to go to a club or a bar or whatever, then when am I gonna have the time to do it? You know, so it's kind of like sacrificing, like, okay, do you want to go out and let loose for a little bit, or do you want to go to sleep? You have to pick one, like which one you want to do. So yeah, it definitely affects my social life. But now what I'm doing is I plan to shoot a show. I shoot it, and then the time that I have after shooting the show, I'll take to myself. So like right now, we shoot the dolls in like 3 weeks. So the time now, I'm just kind of vibing and just like having fun and living my life. But because the come up is about to come out, I have to keep editing and doing all this promo stuff, which is like, honestly, which is the reason why I kind of want to push the come up air date back, because I'm just like, I kind of want to like,
oh my God, now that feeling.
Like, it's like I've been sitting on it for days, and I'm like, I want to push it back, but a lot of people are going to be upset. I already started planning like premiere parties and all this stuff, so I'm like, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'll be. I mean, it'll be here before we know it, so I'll be happy no matter what. Honestly,
right?
Yeah, it's gonna come very soon anyway. It has to come out before I go film the dolls. So I'm like, it has to come out either next week or in the next 2 weeks.
So I heard that like you got into like producing because like you like movies, and you even said like watching movies got you into this. So what's your favorite movie?
Oh, well, my favorite franchise is Final Destination. My favorite.
I was gonna ask you your favorite horror movie.
I love Final Destination. I also love the Scream franchise. Like I love that.
Okay.
And then also like my favorite movies are like Gone Girl, The Martian. I don't know if you guys ever seen those, but they are like psychological movies, like thriller movies. Like
Gone Girl was that.
Gone Girl is everything. I love the movie, and The Martian is so good too. So, and Interstellar is a really good movie too.
Yes.
Okay. Oh,
okay.
So good.
Love that you're into like horror, like psychological thrillers. That's real.
I love it. I love it so much.
Oh my God. This is a weird question, but it just popped into my head. If you had to like remake Gone Girl, who would you put in Amy Doom's role? Like who? Because there are some nutty characters on the come up in Bad Boys Club.
That's a good question. Maybe
I feel like Dion could pull it off.
Hello, 911. I'm about to witness a murder. Can you please help?
Please.
For sure.
I know Dion is a good one. Dion is a good one.
Dion definitely would be great for that. Because I'm trying to think like who's someone who's like super like sweet but also really sassy, who can like flip and have a different.
I was thinking Nakai for some reason.
Catch it.
Are you in the pain?
I'm there for Nakai.
That'll be good. Yeah, I think I think those would be great options. Dion, Nakai, who else? Maybe Aubrey.
I seen him, he called me pretty. Like I get that a lot. Like, hey, how are you? You're so pretty. Oh my God, thank you. Mwah, smooch or whatever.
I feel y'all are constantly like pushing out like content and like seasons after season. So what is the Gemini Filmz like schedule? Like how, like after you guys finish the season, how, like what's the, I guess, time frame between ending one season and then starting the filming process for another show?
That's a good question. It normally takes like a few months to get a show prepared up already. So I would say probably like it would take like 3 months sometimes to get a show ready. Once we started casting everything, we have everything planned out, and then we film it. So for the come up, normally that's filmed for about 6 weeks to 8 weeks.
Okay.
We normally film it for like a month and a half, or we'll film it for 2 months. With Bad Boys Club, I started to figure out a schedule that works. So we shot the Texas season in like 2 weeks. We shot in like 2 weeks, or like 2 weeks and some change. And we were shooting every day. So we were like filming every single day. So there's a lot of content happening every single day. But the schedule is brutal because with the come up, we shoot a couple, like we can shoot 5 scenes in a day. I can go back home. I'll have hours, to like chill and nap or do whatever. With Bad Boys Club and those kind of shows where you're living together, the schedule's a lot more, but you film for a lot less time, if that makes any sense. Okay. Then when you finish the show, it normally will air a few months after. So with Bad Boys Club, we filmed it in February for those 2 weeks. It ended up airing, I want to say in May or like April. So it was a few months and it ended around that time. With, for example, like we're about to film The Dolls in 3 weeks and it probably won't air until like January or something.
Okay.
Like that. Because the come up will be airing for that time of,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like we'll film a show while that show is airing for those 2-3 months. Those are the 2-3 months that the other show was already being prepared to then go into filming. So then by the time that the come up Atlanta reunion is done, The Dolls is already ready with a trailer and the episodes are ready. And then by the time that The Dolls is airing, we've already done shot the Love Show, and we shot that in 12 days or 13 days or something like that.
Okay. That's dope. It's like you always got something in the air and you're always like dealing with something. So that's super dope.
Yeah, exactly.
Content on content.
Busy. But we stand like you push out amazing content Like, I just again have to give you your flowers and just say, like, I admire like your work ethic. Just you going from show to show and just dealing with like so many different personalities, keeping like your mental intact. I think it's dope for you to be a queer Black male and just to be so ambitious and so driven. Like, I think it's dope. I really do admire you, Karan. Like,
oh, thank you. You're making me blush. I definitely appreciate you. I appreciate both of y'all because again, like when I see and I hear like the reviews and you guys talking, like whether it's good, bad, or whatever, like I still laugh and I still have a good time because I know that like it's not realistic for people to just love everything. Like it's not real, you know, like, and I like real people. So when y'all are making a commentary and talking about it, it's like from a point of view that is like, oh, I didn't think of it like that. Or like, oh, it's a new point of view that I'm seeing it as opposed to like my point of view, which is good because honestly, like when y'all start talking about things that you think that I can improve on or like what you didn't like about this or whatever, then I take that into consideration for real. Cause I'm like, okay, for the next show, let me add more of this or take away more of that or whatever the case may be. So y'all are helping producers like us a lot more than you know, because when we watch it, we really do. Well, the people who take it seriously, I don't know who does or who doesn't. I take it seriously. So I really take that into consideration and I'd be like, all right, like, you know, I need to make sure that this is the next thing I do, you know, so.
I'm glad
catch that
like,
shade, baby.
That way. No, like, because I feel like our comments are always like, our negative comments are always like, the other side of like, well, because it's like I love every show that we review. I enjoy even the shows where it's like the production may not be as good. The fact that you were able to like get these people together and film it and edit it and put it on YouTube, to me is like you already like doing better than, you know, what I would have expected. It's not in like a mean-spirited way, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and I never took it that way. That's the reason why I was like, for me, I can understand it because to me it doesn't come off like nasty. It comes off like fun shade. It comes off like I'm listening to my friends talk about it because my friends do the same thing. If they don't like something, I'm like, girl, that episode was boring as hell. I don't know why you put that. You know what I mean? Like, and I'll understand. Like, okay, cool. Like, you thought it was boring. X, Y, like, tell me why. Oh, because this person, whatever. Or like, for example, and I love Jacob and Alex, but there are people who feel like, why'd you put them on? They didn't do anything. And it's like, well, I thought that the stories were good, but tell me why you didn't like them. Tell me what you thought they could have done more with. Like, I want to hear it. You know, it helps us grow. So if it was coming from a nasty place where it was like, oh, this bitch don't know how to produce and this show is boring and it's whack, and you know, it came like really nasty, then yeah, I'd be like, oh, shit, like what, you know, but
right, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Being like a producer, and of course, like you said, like there are other web series that are out now. They're like a lot now. Have you formed a community with other producers? Do you talk to them? Is it a high and by? Have you ever thought of collabing? What's your relationship like with some of them?
That is a good question.
I really don't have much of a relationship with most of the girls, but I will say that, you know, I've ran into a few and, you know, they showed me a lot of love when they see me, like KL, you know, we were both filming for our shows at the same like event. Like I was filming the Come Up Atlanta and I think he was filming for the new season of G Status. And we all had sections. So there was like fucking 15 cameras in this club. It was so much going on.
Wow.
It was a lot. So they had their production over there. We have our production. There's cameras and lights everywhere filming. And I was at the bar getting a drink and he came up to me and he was just like, hey, like, you probably don't know me or maybe you heard about me, but like, I'm KL, I do G Status. I just want to say I love your work. I think you're dope. Keep doing your thing. And then he was like, I admired the fact that like, you're not in all the blogs arguing and fighting with your cast members. And I'm like, yeah, and then so we started talking. I'm like, yeah, because honestly, that's not something that I need to be focused on. I need to get the shows going. I don't have time to be sitting there on Instagram Live arguing with a cast member. Like, that is crazy. Like, I'm not about to do that. But I know that his story might be a little different. And he, you know, so we talked and he gave me a hug and and he seemed very cool. So that was cool. I know Kevon Burns, he showed me a lot of love. Shout out to him. We had a really great, history with each other. I'm trying to think of who else. Like, there's a couple of other like shows that has showed me love. Like, there's people who genuinely have shown me love, and then there are people who are very, nice, nasty, and very shady for no reason. And I'm like, girl, what did I do to you? But okay, if you feel that way, stay your ass over there and feel that way. I don't got nothing to say. So. I'd be paying it. But the girls who do show me love and X, Y, and Z, I got no problem showing love back to them, but
Yeah, okay. I'm here for that. I mean, I've always wanted to have like a little like producer like circle of like people just like bouncing off their ideas.
I wanted to do so. Okay, so you took the words out of my mouth. So I genuinely wanted to do a roundtable with me and the producers of like different shows, like the people who run different shows or whatever. But you know, there's just, again, like I said, there's just people who are very like shady and who just genuinely don't like you for whatever reason. So I'm like, well, I'm not reaching out to these people because some of their best friends are the ones who will come up and say something to me like, oh yeah, she really don't fuck with you. And she said this is, and I'm like, well, why would this person ain't really randomly gonna say that? And they're like one of your best friends, you know, or they work with you. And I know because outside of the conversations that happen when people come to me, I see it for myself. I see the comments and I've seen little text messages and lives and stuff like that. And I'm just like, all right, it is what it is. Like, but I definitely think a roundtable would have been super dope. You know, I think that all of us sitting down, you know, like how the Red Table Talk or something like that does, talking about how we all came up and did our thing and what, you know, what show, you know what I mean? And give each other like advice or whatever. I felt like that would have been dope, but
yeah, that would be
it's something that there's a lot of ego and pride. So I don't really think that's something that would probably happen, but I would be open to it because I think that is really dope. But again, maybe it's because I'm more open to it because I reached the goal that I wanted to. So I don't have any chip on my shoulder when it comes to these other girls. You know, I worked hard and I made it happen, but
yes, you give like comfortable, like bad bitch energy. I love it. Like, just like I'm not bothered. What's
at all. Now that I'm sitting at 100K,
listen, I can't wait to get there. Get that.
Listen, okay. Listen.
Drink for me, okay? Let's have a good
again.
time.
Congratulations on reaching your milestone, 100,000 followers.
Have you gotten the plaque yet?
Yeah, it's right here. I have it hung up on the wall.
Okay.
It's I hung that bad boy up one side. Well, I got it, and then I had it sitting in my house for a bit, and then I took pictures with it on Instagram, and then I finally hung it up when I came back from shooting the Come Up Atlanta. And I look at it every day, and I'm like, oh,
is it heavy? It seems heavy.
Let me see. Hold on. I get it off the wall, and it smashes to the floor.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it has weight to it for sure. Because it's metal and it's like whatever this like mirror.
Oh, it's like reflective, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's a little heavy. Thank you.
I love that. Yes, 100,000.
So, Karon, my final question for you, and this is completely, you know, off subject, and I'm only asking because we interviewed Jaleel, and I just want to know, are you a bar?
I think that fan base is something serious, okay? Ooh. And I am a very, very proud Nicki Minaj fan. I wouldn't call myself a barb because I think that barbs are very much like very loyal to her and they like buy and they know every single thing. And I don't. I am very like, I know all her songs. Like I watch all the videos. I support. Like I'm definitely want to go to like the tour and everything. But I wouldn't consider myself a barb. Okay. I don't really consider myself in any fan base only because it's just like I don't know. I just if I was to, it would probably be for Iggy. Y'all know I ride for Iggy. Y'all know that's my girl.
Oh my god! Okay, I forgot about that.
Iggy, so that would be the one person. If I was to be in a fan base, it probably would be that fan base.
She's a couple bops. Like I like Drugs, of course, and then she has this song called "Don't Need Y'all Anyway."
Yeah.
I like that song a lot. So
okay.
Yeah, you know, everybody got a little something that you can bop to, you know.
You're being shady, but you know what?
No, I genuinely like those songs though.
He's like, she got like 2 good songs.
Hey, she doing better than me. So, you know. But yes, thank you so much for taking the time to like talk to us. And yeah, like of course, like you said, we've been following you for so long, and of course we'll keep reviewing your content, and we just can't wait to see what's next for you.
Thank you. I will say that like probably, I mean, I don't want to make it official, but probably after season 9, it might be the end for me.
Honestly, I am a little very gagged.
Just because, I feel like I've reached what I wanted to. So, with the dolls, the love show, and then season 9, I feel like maybe that would just either it'll be a long break or it'll just that would be it. But I'm really looking forward to like switching careers. I'm very interested in, you know, doing real estate now. So who knows? Maybe I'll still do shows in between that, or maybe not. But I definitely want to say, like, if this is the end of the road moving forward with these last 3 shows, that I do appreciate people like you guys so much, and that it's been really fun. You know, bitch been doing this for over 10 years now, okay?
No, I'm like,
it's been a long time.
Damn, but I'm like, you've been doing it for a
long
minute.
time.
So.
You know, I am 26 now. I am starting to get to that 30 mark, and I am scared, okay? So I just need to, like, kind of figure out, like, what is life really about? And I think that because I've been giving my life literally to social media and YouTube and stuff like that since I was 15. So I feel like now's the time for me to kind of live life and just explore and see a little bit more of like what else is out there for me, you know? So, or who knows, maybe a bitch might do 8 more seasons of Bad Boys Club, and and we'll be here in a few years talk about the next crazy thing. But you know, in case, I really do appreciate it. And seriously, like, because you know, a lot of people don't get the opportunity to talk to people who have like review, like, because you guys don't have to do this, you know, and you guys put in effort, and I've told you before, Damien, that I really love how you guys are very like smart, and you guys pick up details that a lot of people don't pick up. A lot of reviewers they'll just kind of skim through, but y'all pick details of like certain things, and then y'all will remember what happened like a few episodes ago and then place it with this. And then y'all have this thing about y'all that really surprises me, is sometimes y'all could tell what's gonna happen before it even happens, like down the line. Like y'all would be like, I feel like this person and this person's gonna fall out. And then I'm like, damn, how the fuck they already know? Right. But like, or you're like, I feel like this person might get sent home. Like y'all had it on point with the people that y'all was like, I feel like this person's gonna go home. Like I think y'all said like Diego might be the one to go home first because he's been wilding out with the drinking and stuff. And he was, and I was like, damn, like he is gonna be the first one to go home. Like, I already know. So y'all be on point with it. And I don't miss any video. I be watching y'all videos, especially the reviews and everything. And I really do want to do something with you guys before, you know, I bow out and get out of here on the platform. I remember talking about how I wanted you guys to do like the after show, but the schedule was like, it was, you know, it didn't match up, but I really do want to do something with y'all. So either if that means, you know, flying y'all out to do the pre-show hosting for a reunion or something, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I really do want to do something with y'all, because I really do fuck with y'all for real. So
a collab would definitely be amazing. But
yeah, no, we're gonna make it happen for sure. We're gonna make it happen.
Thank you so much for being here with us. I had a great time talking to you. I'm sure Troy also had a great time talking to you.
We had a great time during the interview.
You seemed like such a genuine, like fun, nice person. And like I think, like you said, like people see an image of you and like, but they don't know you. So it's like all of these things can come up, you know, but it's like you like give like genuine fun energy. So I love that.
Yeah, I'm a really chill person. Like in my personal life, I just like to laugh, have fun, drink, party, watch TV. Like I'm not what my career is, but I appreciate that. And I am like, I'm really chill. Like it don't be nothing but good vibes over here. And then also like, you know, a bitch got a fat ass, so
yeah.
Yeah. True. Truth. I'm trying to think of like what the youth say, like when something's true. Oh, period.
I have no problems with a fat ass. Like, you know, like
you know, it's just it's par for the course, but it is what it is.
We appreciate anybody who watches this. Of course, definitely leave your comments below. And of course, so Karon Love. I'm sure y'all already follow him and you know, watch the Come Up and the Bad Boys Club series. But yeah, definitely give him even more love after watching this interview. But this has been Key and Carrie, where we key
and we carry.
I'm Damon.
Oh wait, before we close, we gotta introduce our guest first.
I was gonna say it after.
Oh, so I'm sorry, Karon. I meant to tell Damon this first, so we should have introduced Karon and then, you know, close out. But
this is Key and Carry, where they key and they carry, and you just watched an exclusive interview when I filmed.
Yes, period.
Okay. Peace.